Welcome to Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp
and Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo-Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. You can find all of our other shows at kpppfm.com. And tonight, we are talking about Caravan Respite, Rescue, and Rejection. What's happening down in Piedras, Negras? There was some arrests of MS-13 that rioted within the shelter in Piedras Negras, Coahuila. That's the shelter that's across from the United States' city Eagle Pass.
That's right.
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We also will be bringing you updates on what's happening with Nathan Phillips and recent events that took place in California. With an honoring for him, some information connected to Chase Iron Eyes and the Lakota Law Project. We'll also bring you an update on the Butterfly Sanctuary, protests in Texas, the activist Patricia Cuomo and her rendezvous with Luis Moncevias, as well as updates on what's going on at the Texas camp with Juan P. Mancias. We will also be talking about Pueblo sin Fronteras, Irineo, Mujica, their press releases of late, as well as Alfonso Guerrero, Ulloa, and recent arrests in Mexico City. So stay with us for all of that information on today's show. But first, I want to thank you all for sending me videos, links, information, topics, ideas, etc. Your comments, your thoughts about my reporting, people you want me to interview, all of that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And how can folks get a hold of us and support our work, Duke?
Well, they can get a hold of us many ways. One way is give us a call on our message line. Our message line is 701-566-0917. We tend to check them daily, and thank you for the messages people have sent that have been complimentary or inquisitive and asking questions. Again, it's 701-566-0917. Leave a message up to 3 minutes. Excuse me. Another way you can get a hold of us basically and participate in what we're doing is you can tweet us at media_PPP. You can also get a hold of Cindy by email, cindy@kpppfm.com, or me, Duke at kppp. Let's try it again. Duke at kpppfm.com. Follow us on Facebook at 88.1 FM Fargo-Moorhead, the People's Press Project of Mexi-Can. You can follow Cindy on a public page on Facebook by searching at Cindy Gomez-Schempp. And also, we've been putting our videos up on YouTube. Appreciate all of you who went to YouTube at Duke1517 to subscribe to my channel. And we put a Mexican Crossing Lines on there as a playlist. And so we upload those as high-definition video and without the music. And you don't see the comments from Facebook, but it's a good way to store our videos that other people can watch that are on Facebook. And also go to kpppfm.com. And go to Mexican Crossing Lines, and you can see all the shows there. On those shows, we actually put all the links that were part of our show. And also, there's an audio file that we tend to take some of the shows, and we make them into audio programs, and we put them on the air in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Also, when you're at a website, don't forget to go to kpppfm.com/donate and make a donation to our nonprofit organization, which is the People's Press Project, which is the owner of our radio station. We really appreciate the support people have given us. It's wonderful to have people across the country supporting us as well as locally, because we're doing our best to do what we can with what we have. We're a very low budget station because we are a nonprofit organization, and we put all the funding we get into funding the station, paying for the antenna and the charge of the rent for having our...
You're frozen.
Oh, I'm all frozen again. Well, hey, you know, these...
People can hear you, but they can't see you moving your lips.
Well, you know... You can see me moving my lips now, can't you?
Yes, I can.
You know, we've had to buy inexpensive equipment, you know, and some of these things, this specific webcam is just cheap, you know, because I don't like spending a lot of money and wasting a lot of money. But hey, you can see me now, and I'm frozen again.
Oh no!
I don't know what's going on with that.
It's pretty cold up here, but I don't see any reason for you to be that frozen, dude.
That's right. It is freezing. But, you know, see what we can do. If I end up with just a headshot me talking, that's what you're going to get.
I hope not. That would be horrible. Okay. So first of all, I want to address some of the messages that I have gotten about my last few interviews and appearances in local television and radio, talking about the migrant caravan, because I have been researching a lot of the people for years now that are involved currently in organizing and manipulating this caravan and exploiting this caravan for their own personal wealth and fame. And people have had a big problem with it. And I want to address those folks right now that were upset that I interviewed Anthony, or that because he's a Trump supporter, or that are upset that I interviewed Oscar the Blue Ramirez, because he talks to Anthony and is part of Border Network News. Here's what I have to say about that. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to my programming, but I exposed the Nathan Phillips hoax. And recently I showed you the connections between the people that organized the Indigenous Peoples March and the people that came here and did that Dakota Access Pipeline protest, where they created scenarios for the police to clash with protesters. How they manufactured outrage and pulled at your heartstrings, okay? And people were very upset with me because I exposed the Native American group of people that was supporting Nathan Phillips, and also the protesters that were supporting Nathan Phillips, and the media people and the Congress members, etc., etc., etc. There was actually a phone call I received from a woman that told me that she did not want me to play it on the air, so I will not. I will honor her request. But she literally said that she didn't care that it was a lie, that she would never put down Native American people because they're already downtrodden enough, because they're already maligned enough. She said, I'm not going to put down people that are already hurting. And I'm like, I'm not putting them down. And these people are lying. What about the outrage, the anger, the death threats that they caused for those Catholic school kids simply because they were wearing MAGA hats? And not all of them were wearing MAGA hats. If we live in a world where we now want to manufacture hate crimes because somebody is a Trump supporter so that you can call anyone that's a Republican a member of the Klan, then I don't want any part of that. I don't agree with you. We don't agree. If we have looked at the situation with Jussie Smollett, you have the same thing. He manufactured an assault, a hate crime against him, again, by MAGA hat wearing guys with masks. Turns out they're his buddies, aspiring actors. One of them has already appeared on Empire, right? This was created, manufactured. And yet there are gay people, especially people of color that are gay, saying, we need to stand behind Jussie Smollett, even if it is a lie. I don't care if it's a lie. What kind of world are we living in when we are okay at fabricating hate crimes that target Republicans simply for being Republican? That is wrong. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't think it's right to fabricate hate crimes against people simply because of their political affiliation. And I'm sorry if you disagree with me. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I think that what I think of when someone says that is that they're still living in the liberal past, of where they don't criticize people of color because they're nervous to, even when they're doing something wrong. And that is wrong. It's wrong to let people get away with lies and fabrications and scamming because they're a person of color. What they're doing is taking advantage of the white liberals who are just not going to criticize anyone because they are a person of color. So that person's totally off base for telling you, I know it's a lie, but you shouldn't criticize Native people. And yes, Native people have it really hard. It's horrible in this country for Native people, Indigenous people. It is horrible. We should focus on what is horrible and not take things when people are not being responsible and excuse them and give them excuses and be dysfunctional, allow them to continue to do harm to the community. I think that is totally wrong.
I agree with you 100%, Duke. And you know what? All I have to say is for the last 2.5 years, I have been going after frauds and phonies alike. I don't care that most of them are progressive. I will give as much criticism to the left as I will to the right. And I will not be pigeonholed by anyone. I'm going to share the truth, and I'm always going to be transparent with you, my audience, and show you where I got the information. So I apologize to all of those out there who felt that I have become some kind of traitor simply because I am treating people with respect and asking questions and finding out information from those who are at the source of that information. And I'm going to continue to do that. In fact, Blue is going to be on my show on Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Oscar the Blue. Yep. He's going to be back here on Wednesday to give us an update about what's going on. And he has some very interesting information about the human rights director person who is being asked to resign. And he's going to update us with that and with more right from the border. So I want to start off. Having said that, I want to start off with the honoring that took place of Nathan. I don't know how, after he lied about his service and after lying about being disrespected by these kids and fabricating a hate crime along with all of these people, which ultimately backfired horribly on them, they can keep this going and have support to keep this lie going. But they are, and here is the Lakota Law post from their page about the city of Santa Cruz honoring Nathan Phillips by official proclamation, making February 10th Peace and Justice Day from a guy that manufactured a hate crime.
Wow.
He gets this kind of an honoring for manufacturing a hate crime. I think that it's absolutely deplorable. Here's the mayor's proclamation that was posted on Native Youth Alliance Facebook page, which is essentially Nathan Phillips's page he runs. You can show that that's from the Facebook page for Nathan Phillips. Maybe. You'll notice it's Native Youth Alliance's post, okay? And then I wanted to show you who he's with out in California, because he's not alone. Raymond Kingfisher is with him, and so is Chase Iron Eyes. There's Raymond Kingfisher, the guy that happened to be right next to him when the hate crime happened in Washington, D.C. at the People's March. These people are always together. Oh, look, there's Chase Iron Eyes right next to him. They never leave each other's sides. They travel together to do these stunts. And I wanted to remind everybody, for those of you who aren't remembering where we first saw Raymond Kingfisher, he was in D.C. with all of the people that falsely accused Kathleen Bennett and the people that were coordinating the politicians, Congress members, the people connected to billionaire wealth at Nexus, Christina Hollenbeck. And I will also remind you that the other person connected to billionaire wealth is Mary Ann Thompson Frank. And she is also connected to these folks, primarily through the Moncevias Institute. I showed you that she had the movie Wake. This is a professional photo that she posted on her page for those of you who don't remember what Mary Ann Thompson Frank of the billionaire wealth group Nexus looks like. And she is working and has been working directly with Juan P. Mancias of the Carrizo Come Crudo tribe. They're not even a federally recognized tribe. But you can see as recently as January 10th, they're posting together, hats off, she says, to Juan P. Mancias for speaking out for both the communities and nature threatened by Trump's proposed wall. Remember, I told you the section of the wall that they claim that they are stopping, or that they're going to try to stop at this butterfly sanctuary, at this veterans cemetery, where I am told by some of my sources that they can't find any listing of any military personnel that are actually buried there, that it's a cemetery of black people.
Oh, wow.
That it's a cemetery for black people. Primarily black people, and that there is one Mexican named Garcia that is buried there. But they claim it is a veterans and that is a sacred burial site. They're claiming also Juan P. Mancias and the other folks from these alt-left groups connected to Antifa are claiming they're going to stop this wall, and they need you to send them your dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Your precious dollars need to go to them to stop this wall. And this billionaire, this millionaire, this woman that is extremely wealthy, connected to the 7-Eleven dynasty all throughout Mexico and the United States, the heiress for the people that refine 50% of America's petroleum. Mm-hmm. Petroleum, you say? Yes,
yeah.
The people that were opposed to pipelines are connected to that kind of wealth. And they're asking for your dollars and cents. But Thompson, Frank, and Mancias, Marion Thompson, Frank, Myron, awake. This is the article that I shared with you in the past from the Menansin Institute's showing of the movie Awake, Myron Dewey's movie. And you see the chief of the Comecrudo tribe right there in the picture. You see him? The chief of the Comecrudo tribe is the one with the hunter green, darker green shirt on, and he is standing next to a woman in a black jacket, a black shirt. And next to her is Michelle Cook. You remember who Michelle Cook is, Duke? Michelle Cook sits on the board of the Water Protector Legal Collective.
Okay.
Michelle Cook is an attorney that was working on that case against Trump that didn't go anywhere with the fake attorney, Red Wolf Pope, a.k.a. the guy that was caught raping women in 2 different states and filming himself doing it. That Red Wolf Pope. Yes. And of course, recently that Geoffrey Hass was quoted as still being in the Water Protector Legal Collective in that Intercept article that I mentioned to you guys that came out recently. So it's very interesting to see them all together in one location. I'm going to share that article from Green Source in the comments of this show so you can go and find it for yourself and check out these connections. Next, I wanted to show you the Errol Medicine guy. Remember in Border, it's called the Border Support Network, previously known as the hashtag Asylum Seekers Caravan Support Network. That was founded by Evan K. Duke III, Antifa dude, who is connected to Myron Dewey, who then he also took over administering that page. It previously was Abolish ICE. It previously was connected to Occupy Inauguration. These folks I showed you were denounced by a guy named Errol Medicine in a video I shared with you on the show that I did before I interviewed Oscar the Blue. And I told you that he was denouncing Evan Duke for drinking and for womanizing and or harassing women and or abusing women, something of that nature. It was rather vague. But I did want to show you what Mr. Errol Medicine has in his history. The Errol Medicine who says, we don't want this guy because he's a drunkard. We don't have any association with him. Don't let him. He has nothing to do with the leadership of our organization. Me and Juan Mancias, we're the good people. Juan Mancias, the leader of the Comecrudo tribe. Well, Mr. Errol Medicine, as you can see here, can you read that, Duke?
Yeah, 3 individuals. Errol Medicine, 50. Winona Medicine, 52, and Wilma Medicine, 44, were sentenced to 3 years of probation on charges of conspiracy to distribute controlled substance after selling 9 pills containing hydrocodone, a Schedule III controlled substance, in April 2009.
Was that the only time that happened? Well, no, it didn't. Here's another time. This one is from 2011. This comes from the FBI, as you can see there on your screen. From the FBI, 3 plead guilty to conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. What is the date there? This is from the District of South Dakota on March 30th of 2011 in Pierre, South Dakota. What is Mr. Errol Medicine doing then? And could you go on screen? Because I'm going to...
Yeah, I'm frozen, but I will.
Try it, Duke.
There we go.
Okay.
I'm frozen. Pierre, South Dakota. United States Attorney Brennan V. Johnson announced that Errol Medicine, age 49 of Wakapa, Wyona Medicine, age, also Wyona Medicine, age 51 of Rapid City, and Wilma Medicine, age 44 of Rapid City, appeared before the United States District Judge Charles B. Cormoran on March 28, 2011. All 3 defendants pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. The maximum penalty upon conviction is 10 years of imprisonment and a $500,000 fine, or both. 3 years of supervised release and a special assessment of $100 to the Victim Assistance Fund.
Duke, I'm seeing in the comments several people are telling me, did you know that AOC is connected with Standing Rock? I'm probably the one that they got that information from, because I'm one of the first people that broke that information to the media. Yes, I did know. I've been talking about it for quite some time, in fact. Juan Mancias, as I mentioned to you, is the chief of the Carrizo Comet Crudo tribe, which Mr. Errol Medicine has been saying you need to get down to Mission, Texas, and support him to stop the border wall from being built there. That, again, was already funded in a, what's it called? What kind of a bill did I mention it was funded in?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the bills are called. No. Well, it's an appropriation bill if they give money.
Yeah, it was funded in 2018. It was already funded. They can't stop it. I showed you that they wrote in their GoFundMe that in the event that they aren't able to stop the building of the wall, which they know they're not going to do, they're going to keep the money to do some other stuff with. Okay, so don't worry. Just give them your money. Here is their request for that money. Juan Mancias posts about the money, and I just wanted to show you, and I got the tags on here so that you can see that they have Dwayne Redwater, they have a bunch of people that they are really calling on, and if you scroll down, you will see more of the people that are tagged to come out. This is the No Border Wall, where they're raising money. You can see they're doing a fundraiser up there. You can keep scrolling down, Duke. Just keep moving. Keep on going. Keep on going. And they have No Border Wall. Is that all the tags?
That's all the tags.
That's all? Oh, yeah. I see that. Okay. So from this post, on this post, there were some comments I wanted you to see. And they're from Wicopy Auto. You guys all remember that Wicopy Auto lady?
Yeah.
Remember that she reached out to Kevin Gilbert, who called me to see if I could get him in touch with Kathleen Bennett's lawyer, because she wanted to make a statement about seeing Mary naked walking around
down
outside.
The highway, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that liar. That lady that was ready to perjure herself on the stand. That lady was posting on this post, and look at who she's talking to, the guy that the FBI was looking for at the Mission, Texas camp, if we are to believe the people that were there that posted about it. Doug Warren, I said, posted a video where some kind of authorities, I don't know, maybe they were marshals, maybe they were FBI. In any event, they lied to them and told them they didn't know where Jesse was. The picture on their phone wasn't the Jesse they knew. Well, there's Jesse. He's definitely with Juan Mancias. He's with these people. And he says, please donate if you can. We are trying to build more villages to defend the sacred lands and natural. We. He's with them. Still there. FBI, if you're listening, he's with them. They lied to you. Wakapi Otto responds, Jesse Garcia got it, shared. And he says, thank you. And she says, you're welcome. And Juan Mancias says to Wakapi, these are the lands that have the peyote medicine. The peyote medicine. Remember that Louis Moncevias was looking for someone that could help them travel with peyote?
That's right.
These people traffic peyote. Are you paying attention?
Mm-hmm.
Are you paying attention? Now that I know that, she says, oh my God, I will keep pushing the message now that I know that. We got to protect the sacred peyote. Okay, so this is the same Louis Moncevias that made a video saying that he was a coyote and that he brings people into this country illegally.
Yeah.
This is the same guy. So naturally, I have an article for you guys to look at from the National Butterfly Sanctuary executive director. And in it, I wanted to give you some background because this National Butterfly Sanctuary, for those of you who love animals and insects out there, who love the birds and the bees and the little butterflies, you're pulling on your heartstrings to make you think, they're destroying wildlife. What kind of monster is going to kill the butterflies? What kind of monster is going to dig up the bones of the vets? Yes. What kind of monster? But they lie. They are lying to you. That's the thing that you need to know. And they got a PR person to do their lying for them. Before she was hired, I wanted to show you that she was, recently hired on. This was the notification that she was hired. And before she was doing that, this lady was working for a private medical clinic. She was an executive director like you are, Duke, that was raising money through grants. And you typically saw her in, newspaper articles holding those giant checks like, look, we got funded.
That's right.
And then they hired her to be the PR person for the National Butterfly Center. And remember, it is owned by a mobile home park that owns the land that the Butterfly Center, Butterfly Sanctuary, whatever you want to call it, is on. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is a nationally recognized butterfly sanctuary, but in any case, they are hyping up things. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Oh, yeah.
They are hyping it up. Who else has joined this group? I told you back when I was mentioning that Doug McLean and Winona LaDuke were hanging out with that girl that got her arm almost ripped off at Standing Rock with Sophia Wolanski, and that the woman that climbed the Statue of Liberty, the black woman that climbed the Statue of Liberty, Patricia Cuomo, was hanging out with this girl that got injured at Standing Rock, and Doug McLean, the white leader of the Indigenous Life Movement page. Well, here's Patricia Cuomo's page, and as you can see from Facebook, she's the Statue of Liberty climber. Just in case you didn't know what gives her a claim to fame, she makes sure you know by looking at her page. Well, guess what? Guess where she's at, folks? Where is Patricia Cuomo? Let me show you a video she posted to let you know where she's at. Okay, here's that video.
Hello everyone, this is Patricia Okoumou. I've just arrived to El Paso. As you can see, El Paso welcomes you and I'm so excited. This is my new outfit, look. It doesn't say anything in the back.
Nothing back there.
But that's me, look, El Paso, yes!
Woohoo! Wow. And you'll never guess who she's with. Patricia, in this post, I want you to show the Patricia post. She posted the video with the hashtag El Paso welcomes you. I have limited access to email. I can read your messages, but I cannot reply. Leave your number, please, if you want a phone call back. And then she says, Statue of Liberty, seeking asylum is not a crime. We do care. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll notice someone from Standing Rock, you may recall, the girlfriend of the guy who's, Remember that she was dating that Mike Facet guy? whose son raped and kidnapped a girl and is now in jail serving, was it 6 years, 9 years in prison?
Something like that, yeah.
For raping and kidnapping. Well, Yistaresevich says, hey, you need to go hook up with my friend's Antifa leader, Evan K. Duke III. Evan at the Butterfly Refuge. Hey, go hang out with the criminals over there, she says. And of course, I'm sure Patricia Cuomo is dying to go there because guess who she's hanging out with? Louis Moncevias. Louis Moncevias posted, breaking direct action, reclaiming the Border Patrol Museum, and exposing the true violence of borders and border patrols. Patricia Cuomo. And then you can see inside of this museum where they are, Patricia Cuomo is standing next to the Statue of Liberty. She found a Statue of Liberty inside.
Oh,
she's
my
like,
God.
I can't climb it, but I'm going to stand next to it. And here is a video. Here's a little bit of that protest. At the very beginning, you will see Louis Moncevias, who is a stunt actor and has a criminal record. Both he and his brother have a history of activism against pipelines.
All right, let's do this. Who's with me? Let's share this video. Let me know this live feed is working. So let me give you a quick synopsis. Good, we got a person on. We know that it's working. This action is against the U.S. Border Patrol all throughout the United States, who has become the worst lawless organization and law enforcement in the United States of America. Our group, our caravan, is here together as family, unity, to show a resistance against the Border Patrol. We're here at the Border Patrol U.S. Museum, and we're getting ready to do a direct action. I'm going to go ahead and get in. Yeah, all of our people are behind us. Oh, awesome. Oh, sweet. Is there a fee?
No, it's free.
Okay, great.
Is this your first time here?
Huh?
Is this
It is, yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
Welcome to the museum.
Thank you very, very, very much.
If you have any questions, just let us know.
Okay. Is there... Yeah. Wow, this is fantastic. Okay. So, bear with us here. We got to get our people in. Okay? So just bear with us here a minute. We're going to get our people in. Some of our people are already starting to come in, as you can see. There we go.
Dear God.
See,
Oh God, please don't say.
future.
Oh my gosh, somebody stepped on a cat. Oh, there's Alex Cohen. There's Alex Cohen. Did you see him? He just walked right in front. There he is with a green backpack on his back.
All right.
That's Alex Cohen.
We are standing for your future, and we want to sow.
People are nuts.
Child, 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 we never see you grow.
Stop. There she is. Patricia Cuomo.
Child, child.
Oh, there's the Statue of Liberty. Run over and stand next to that.
Yep.
Will we ever see you
Oh, dear God.
We are hoping to.
Okay, stop it, please. It's hurting my ears. Stop it. Oh, I'm sorry I did that to you.
Yes.
I am sorry.
Accept your apology.
I'm sorry that I did that to all of you. I know it sounded like someone was killing a cat. But let me say that these people are complete hypocrites. I will prove it to you. I will show you that they are hypocrites, liars, and they're criminals. They're crazy. They're crazy. Alex Cohen, the kid that you saw in there with the long hair that was wearing the green backpack on his back.
Yep.
For those of you who don't remember, for those of you who just started watching my show, that fraud was out in Puerto Rico after the Hurricane Maria, defrauding people out there. If you want to go and see what those people did to exploit and to defraud the people in Puerto Rico, watch my shows, Disaster Vultures. Go to kpppfm.com and catch up and find out who these people really are. They are just making money. They're not just activists that are crazy. They're not just, these people that are rabidly against Trump or whatever. They are making money. They're not traveling all over the country and all over the world for free. Somebody's paying for those airline tickets. Somebody's paying for that gas. Somebody is moving these people all over the place. Nexus, perhaps?
Oh, maybe.
One of the many places that they get their money. Okay, so I wanted to show you another protest that they did in which Patricia Cuomo also appears. And just look at how over the top and ridiculous they are. This happened on the day that President Trump declared a national emergency to build the border wall. On that day, okay, they did actions everywhere. Why? Because they want to try to downplay what's happening at the border. They want to try to downplay the crisis of these caravans that they help to fund, that they help to manufacture, and that they are exploiting. Check out this video posted by Moncevias.
Up with liberation! Woo! Woo, 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 woo! Woo! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't fuck your fucking orders! Fuck your walls, fuck your borders, we won't take your fucking borders! Woo, woo, woo! Up with liberation, down, down with deportation!
Huh? I want you to see the giant blow-up doll that they have here.
There it is.
There it is. He'll get closer to it. They have President Trump in a Klan outfit. It's not just the language that they're using. And look there's law enforcement out there protecting them from getting run over. You don't need an Indian out there to do these drumming things now. Just any rando can grab a drum.
Yeah, exactly.
this is what these folks are up to. See, there's the Standing Rock stuff.
Yeah.
Water is life. What in the hell does that have anything to do with?
Force feeding is a crime. 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 Force feeding is a crime.
What do we want?
I had enough.
What do we want?
Right now.
Okay.
Wow.
I was going to let you hear until the point where Louis Moncevias comes on the screen and tells you that they're protesting against these people that are in a hunger strike inside of a detention facility that are being force fed with you know, those tubes they put in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that the very people that you see in these videos are misinforming people in the caravan while they're raising money off of them, while they're exploiting them. They're misinforming them and funneling them into the detention centers so that they have to be housed sometimes for months. Here's the thing, wherever you sit on this issue, it should bother you that those people are going to have to be housed and fed and kept in detention facilities in the United States until their asylum hearings. Yes, many of them will be kept inside detention centers until their asylum hearings. If you know the conditions inside of those detention centers, which they all claim are horrible conditions, why, oh why, would you tell people to go and turn themselves, to cross illegally, to jump over a border wall, injuring yourself or one of the children that you toss over that wall, only to turn yourself into Border Patrol and go into a detention facility like they describe is freezing, that has bad food. They describe these horrible, horrible conditions. Why are you filling up detention centers, you hypocrites? Why are you filling up these detention centers then? While they say they care about the people inside, the horrible conditions inside are being, that's why the hunger strike is taking place, right? Because of the horrible conditions inside. Mm-hmm. Who is bringing, who is funding, and who is lying to these people in the caravan to make them think that crossing the border wall is going to be easy and that getting asylum is going to be just as easy? It's these folks. It is these very people. And I've been showing you that for months and months now. Some of you have come to watch my show and seen that I am talking to people who have firsthand information that live on the border. Yes, even if they're Trump supporters, or who have firsthand information that are living in Tijuana. And somehow that is the greatest crime I could have committed against humanity. And as I said at the top of my show, I think it is ridiculous that we live now in an age where the simple affiliation of your politics, of your political background, makes you into a Nazi automatically. That's just the way that it is. And it's hilarious to me because these people may espouse progressive ideas, but their actions are every bit as horrible as the things that they rail against. So here is the courthouse news. In it, you will see that the Texas Butterfly Sanctuary has just lost a legal challenge with regard to this border wall. And, you know, I told you ever since they started raising money for this that they knew not just that they were going to lose, but that they knew they were going to lose, that they knew that they were raising money and creating camps and raising money for camps and doing all of this nonsense that had nothing to do with stopping the border wall. That's just what they tell you. It's not what they're actually doing. More likely, and there's plenty of evidence that they are working with the folks, is that they're helping people cross into this country illegally. That's why they're being questioned by Homeland Security and Border Patrol. That's why they're being detained. That's why they're having their phones confiscated and their documents confiscated. That's why the journalists are being questioned. That's why their attorneys are being deported. That's why. Because they're doing illegal things. And in this article, you can go to number 2 there. You will see, loses battle, that the coinciding with this drastic measure by the White House to build a wall on the southern border, a federal judge threw out a court challenge by a butterfly conservation center whose 100-acre facility on the Rio Grande in South Texas stands in the way. Quote, this is the quote from the U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, who wrote this on Thursday, dismissing the lawsuit, dismissing it out of hand.
Wow.
Bye, Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
By the North American Butterfly Association. They said, unfortunately for the plaintiff, the Fourth Amendment offers little refuge for unenclosed land near one of the country's external borders. What did I tell you, folks? They have no say over border land. Borderland is controlled and is exclusively under the purview of the federal government. All entry points into a country are controlled by that country's government, not by butterfly sanctuaries, not by native tribes, especially not ones that are not even federally recognized. So, moving on, I wanted to show you that Daniel Sheehan, the attorney from California that was at Standing Rock, that was recently posting about Nathan, that works directly with Chase Iron Eyes, Nathan's lawyer, and the organizer for the Indigenous Peoples March, right? The felon that got arrested once again at the last child camp at Standing Rock, that ran for Congress here in North Dakota. Daniel Sheehan, the lawyer that works with him, liked this post and retweeted it within 32 seconds of it being posted. What does it say, Duke? Read it for us.
It says, muck rock. Explore the history of hashtag CIA covert activity in hashtag Honduras through the agency's declassified archives. And it has a link there.
What do you make of that? He wants to explore the history of CIA covert activities in Honduras.
Yeah.
What sparked his interest about that? I wonder.
Yeah.
Here is Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa in an article by the Daily Caller. You will see, I want to go to the first one, which is Daily Caller. Is that one? Is that it?
That's it.
How come I don't see the picture? Oh, okay. Well, let's read what it says, Duke.
Let's see.
I must just scroll down a little bit. Read that for me. What does it say about Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa, the leader of this? If you don't remember who he is, he's the guy that asked for $50,000. Okay, now you remember him, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
He marched over to the embassy in Tijuana and demanded that Trump give $50,000 to every one of the members of the caravan if he wanted them to go home. What does it say he is associated with?
Ulloa posted a lengthy diatribe about the 1987 bombing to Facebook in June 2017.
That is a bombing that he is accused of being involved in.
Yes. In the post, Ulloa again denied any role in bombing, though he admitted to being a member of a Popular Revolutionary Forces Lorenzo Zelaya, a now defunct left-wing group, whose members claim responsibility in 1982 for hijacking a plane and taking hostages, including 8 Americans. Wow.
Hostages.
Yeah.
This man is a terrorist. This is just some of the stuff he's accused of. He was accused of blowing up a Chinese restaurant in Honduras where 6 service members of the American Armed Forces were injured. But that's not all. He helped hijack planes. He helped kidnap politicians. He helped commit many other crimes. But you really want to know what he was good at? Let me show you. Here's what Ulloa, and this comes from the Public Law 100th Congress. I'm going to share the article, the Daily Caller, with all of you. Nemo, if you could throw that in the comments section, the Daily Caller article link for everyone who wants to go and read that Daily Caller article in its entirety. This is the leader of the caravans, okay? This is the guy that has been saying that if President Trump wants to stop the caravans, he has to give $50,000. He has to get the President Juan Orlando Hernandez, dictator of Honduras, out of power, remove him from power, and all sorts of other crazy things that he's been saying. As you can see from this Public Law 100th Congress document, I will share the PDF to the entire document for my viewers in the comments section of this show, so you can go and look at the sources for yourself, okay? Because I show my work, I show my math, so that people don't call me a liar, right? Oh my God, my eyes, I can't see it. You have to read it, honey.
You want me to read this? I thought you had it on your computer. Oh, well.
I can. Okay, let me find it.
I'll try to make it bigger. To authorize appropriations for fiscal years 19-something and 1989 for the Department of State, United States Information Agency.
Okay, no. This is just the first page. This is the first page of the document. So you don't have to read this one. This is just what the first page of the PDF I'm going to be sharing with you is. Okay, folks? Let's go to the next one. The next one is easier to read. So this comes from this document, okay? This comes from this document. Let's see. Oops. Can you start reading that, Duke?
I can try. Just the highlighted parts?
Just the highlighted parts, please.
Okay. Honduras authorized authorities.
Oh my God.
Honduras authorities have named Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa a suspect in the act of terrorism and have a warrant for his arrest. The government of Mexico, contrary to accepted norms of international law on harboring terrorists, has granted asylum to Mr. Guerrero. And
I need you to read that one more time.
The Honduran authorities have named Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa as a suspect in this act of terrorism and have a warrant for his arrest.
Yes.
The Honduran authorities have a warrant for his arrest.
Some of you out there, because see, we've been told to support Pueblo Sin Fronteras, to support this caravan, that, you know, this guy is not a terrorist. Right here, it is clear what these folks were doing. Go on, Duke.
Okay. The government of Mexico, contrary to accepted norms of international law on harboring terrorists, has granted asylum to Mr. Guerrero. And the United States government has protested to that government of Mexico.
So when he says that Mexico investigated all of this very carefully and he was cleared of all of the accusations against him, he is full of caca. And he's a liar. But he's also a criminal and he's a terrorist. The United States of America, and it is recorded right here in these documents, in these legal documents. It says very clearly, Nemo, I hope that you have shared the link to this PDF with my audience so they can look at it for themselves. If you don't believe me, look at it for yourself. That not only did they have a warrant for his arrest, that he was granted asylum in Mexico against the accepted norms, and that the United States protested against it. He wasn't cleared of anything.
Yeah.
He is a terrorist.
And a liar.
And a liar. Continue reading, dear.
All right. The United States government has protested to the government of Mexico. Statement of policy, B. It is a sense of the Congress that, 1, the United States Congress deplores the harboring of international terrorists, and 2, the United States government should call upon the government of Mexico to turn Mr. Guerrero over to the government of Honduras.
Okay. So that's how things stand. Because he never went back to Honduras, and Mexico never turned him over.
Right.
That's what really happened. He wasn't at no theater. His stories about whatever he's telling you to stupefy your brain, to make you believe that, oh, no, I'm a good guy, is a lie. Straight out of hell. And people like Mr. Sheehan, people like these activists will try to, cover this in some fairy dust story so that you believe that he's a freedom fighter when you're dealing with a terrorist. They will hang out with people like this. They don't have any qualms about hanging out with criminals, as I've told you, as I have shown you. But they pretend that they have the higher moral ground. They don't. Now, I want to show you, I showed you he was part of that group, the Popular Revolutionary Forces, Lorenzo Zelaya. And here is what the Popular Revolutionary Forces, Lorenzo Zelaya, were about. This comes from a document called Patterns of Global Terrorism, published in 1989. Published in 1989. ¿Qué hubo, le cabrón? There you go. There's your proof. You like hanging out with terrorists? That's how it is. So, let's look at this. What does it say? Well, other leftist guerrilla groups that have resorted to terrorist tactics in the past are the Popular Liberation Movement, Cinchoneros, the MLP Cinchoneros, and the Popular Revolutionary Forces Lorenzo Zelaya, referred to as MPFLZ. Will you put that graphic up so people can read along with me, the second one, which is called Popular Revolutionary Forces Lorenzo Zelaya? In it, you will see what they were good at. What was Mr. Ulloa good at? Well, both received significant logistics training and financial support from Nicaragua and from Cuba, with key personnel maintaining their headquarters in Nicaragua. Hey, look at that. Efforts toward increased collaboration among Honduran guerrilla organizations, the FMLN in El Salvador, and the Sandinista Army and intelligence organizations have been reported. The FMLN likely uses Salvadorian refugee camps in Honduras for infiltrating its guerrillas into El Salvador. Let me read that to you one more time, okay? I don't want you to miss it. The FMLN likely uses Salvadoran refugee camps. Now, just substitute refugee camps for caravans.
Yep.
And that's how you can start using those caravans to infiltrate with guerrilla warriors. Listen, the Honduran armed forces interdicted 2 major arms shipments. So they moved weapons and warriors. 2 major arms shipments transiting from Nicaragua to the Salvadorian guerrillas in 1989. The Honduran armed forces continued their anti-terrorist operations and monitoring of radical organizations during the year. They conducted sweeps of known guerrilla operating areas, raids on suspected safe houses, and border searches of vehicles for possible arms shipments. 3 Hondurans believed sought for questioning for involvement with armed leftist organizations surfaced in Mexico, where they were given asylum.
Yep.
Guess who one of those 3 people is? It's the guy in the other document. The other document from the government that names him personally and says his name.
Yep, exactly.
Alfonso Guerrero Ulloa. One of the 2 surviving terrorists who attempted to bomb a U.S. embassy,
Yep.
a U.S. embassy warehouse in April of that year, has received a preliminary hearing and is in custody awaiting trial. Why, that only leaves 2 in Mexico.
Yep.
One of whom is Ulloa. Can we put this to rest now? Can we put to rest that they are working with terrorists? What leftist, what progressive, what democratic organization is okay with supporting a terrorist-led movement? Is Nancy Pelosi okay with it? Apparently so. Gavin Newsom definitely is. Mark Lane of the Minority Humanitarian Foundation is. We know that these Antifa people definitely are. They don't have problems dealing with terrorists, working with terrorists. They're totally on board with that. Me, not so much. Not so much. So now that we've gone through that, and we've showed it to everyone, I want you to see the recent denouncement by Pueblo Sin Fronteras. This is Ulloa's on the boots on the ground man, the guy making sure the trafficking happens, making sure, along with his people, that he has working with him within this caravan to traffic the people, to traffic the drugs, to bring the caravans to the border. And recently, in a press release that they posted on Pueblo Sin Fronteras and that was mentioned in this article in La Jornada that I am sharing the link to, it's in Spanish. But hey, I always like to show my work so you have it, so you can see it for yourself. This Irineo Mujica, the partner of the terrorist, says that he denounces the harassment against 2 Hondurans that were accompanying trafficking and helping trafficking the Central American caravan through Mexico. He said, we denounce the harassment and the criminalization of migrant people that have taken a leadership role in accompanying our brothers and sisters who are migrating to the border of Mexico through the Suchiate River from the middle of January to the present day, he said. He explained further that a man last name Cuevas Ramirez of Honduran origin was, quote unquote, harassed by federal police and agents of the Instituto Nacional Mexicano, which is called the INAMI. That's like the equivalent of ICE or Homeland Security, Immigration and Naturalization Services here in the United States. And on February 2nd, in the park in Tapachula named Miguel Hidalgo, is where they claim that this harassment took place. And it was the last day that he was seen accompanying, or that it was the day in which he was accompanying migrants through that section from Ciudad Hidalgo to Tapachula. Irineo Mujica said that David was bringing a group of Central Americans through a section of Tapachula, from Tapachula to Huixla on Sunday, the 3rd of February, and then on a section from Huixla to Mapastepec on the 4th of February, where he arrived at a shelter at the Mapastepec sports unit, which happened on Monday, the 12th. Do you guys remember that Oscar the Blue was talking about a guy named David who was arrested for trafficking people? Trafficking human beings? Mm-hmm. Yeah? They confirmed it in their own press release. They call it harassment by the Mexican authorities and immigration, federal police and immigration authorities. But the federal police and immigration authorities don't just snatch you up, take you in and question you and have Interpol question you and then take away your permanent legal residency, as he claims he had in Mexico, and then deport you back to Honduras, never to be seen in Mexico again, because you were simply doing shepherding. No, that's not true. All of these people saying, I'm not a terrorist, I'm not a trafficker, I am not a criminal.
That's right.
Seem to have a lot of problems with the law for people that are doing absolutely nothing wrong. Don't you think?
Yep.
And Irineo Mujica went on to say that on the 12th was the last time that he was seen after he went back to the road to keep shepherding the caravan so that they would not get left behind. Nobody has seen him since then. And so they were reporting him as a missing person because they couldn't figure out what jail, what authority had taken him away. Okay? And he said that yesterday on Wednesday, we couldn't find any registration of a warrant for his arrest or where he was detained, not by the General Attorney General of Mexico, nor by any other authority, nor by the immigration authority. And they denounced that the newspapers that he was a disappeared person, that he was a missing person. So in this communication, they also denounced that immigration agents on the 6th of February, the federal police detained another Honduran that was crossing people along the international bridge. Why is this video starting on my screen? I hate this. On the international bridge, and that he was arrested for public. I'm translating as I'm reading because this is in Spanish. I'm getting a little bit mental block. Help me. Public disturbance, or what is it called, Duke? You just shrug your shoulders at me.
Well, public disturbance.
Disorderly conduct.
Disorderly conduct. Yeah.
Disorderly conduct charge for drinking in public. Then he complained about the fact that another one of his dudes, named Walter Coelho, was detained by the Mexican Immigration Authority, puesto que él cuenta con documentos para una legal estado. A guy who had legal papers to be in Mexico, and he was detained for... No, the other guy was detained for disturbing the peace. This guy was detained for public drunkenness. And they were angry because they said the immigration authorities shouldn't be arresting people for that. Kind of like ICE doesn't have the authority, or Border Patrol shouldn't have the authority to arrest you for public drunkenness or disturbing the peace. You know what I mean? That is what they are denouncing. So it's not just Mr. Ulloa that is problematic. It is many of their members who are now getting arrested, who are now getting deported. But they're doing nothing wrong, they say. They're doing nothing wrong. He maintained. He also said that two other men who were coming with the caravan were detained by federal police, one of them in San Luis Potosí, which is the name of a state in Mexico, and the other around kilometer marker 84 on the highway from Mexico to Querétaro. In one article, there are 4 or 5 people that he is denouncing the authorities for arresting or deporting, in one case, for human trafficking. But hey, everyone in America, all of these progressive, liberal, democratic activists want you to give money to Irineo Mujica's organization, Pueblo Sin Fronteras, and to support the caravans led by this terrorist. Just keep on doing it because, hey, they're not doing anything wrong. They're freedom fighters, right? There's no bad people in this group of caravan goers. It's totally okay. Now let me show you this other article. This is the Mexican government deported David, and this is Pueblo Sin Fronteras' own post. Please read that, Duke.
One moment.
One moment, please. One moment. One.
Pueblo Éxodo, Crónicas of the Migrant Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Attention, Mexican government deported...
Excuse me, let me make a correction. I said that it was from Pueblo Sin Fronteras Facebook. It's actually Pueblo Éxodo. And this was created by Jesse Sandoval.
Okay.
It's a media platform for the caravans.
All right. Attention, Mexican government deported David from Pueblo Sin Fronteras despite having a permanent Mexican resident visa. His only crime, accompanying asylum seekers to the northern U.S.-Mexico border.
No, he was deported for trafficking people. Look how they lie.
Mm-hmm. His only crime was accompanying asylum seekers to the northern U.S.-Mexico border, which is a lie, which is not illegal, which is a lie. David is now in Honduras, waiting uncertain fate. San Cristobal de las Casas. Chiapas?
Yeah, that's the abbreviation for the state of Chiapas.
Oh, Las Casas?
No, Chis.
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 Okay.
That's the abbreviation for the state of Chiapas.
Okay, I haven't
and
read
the
that
city is San Cristobal de las Casas.
Okay. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
in Spanish.
It says the Mexican government deported Honduran Carlos David Cuevas Ramirez, and a member of the group Pueblo Sin Fronteras, supposedly for accompanying migrants, Central American migrants in transit to the northern border. Today I arrived in Honduras, said Cuevas Ramirez, who added that since the year before last, he had a permanent residency to be in Mexico, but before being deported, it was taken away from him by the National Institute of Migration in Mexico.
Wow.
Ta-da! Mm-hmm. By their own admission, they admit he's deported. They admit he was deported. You know those al otro lado lawyers that said that they weren't doing anything wrong? They lied to customs in Mexico, said they were there for vacation. One of them didn't even get in. The other one was deported for lying to the authorities and practicing law without a license in Mexico. And also for lying. What these folks are doing in Mexico. Mexico is not going to stand for it. And I hope that people in America are looking at what people in Mexico are doing to help protect your border, your southern border. That's what Mexicans are doing to help protect your southern border. And they need help too. They need help at their southern border, and they need help from the media and from the people of America to stand in solidarity with their neighbors to help stop this problem of the caravans. I am not against legal migration. I am not against migrants. I am not against people, normal migrants, regular migrants, most of whom truly just want to come here and get jobs, most of whom have a very difficult trajectory crossing through Central America and through Mexico to get here, many of whom come from horrible conditions in their home countries that they indeed need to leave from. There is a certain percentage of people in this caravan that are not good people. That also needs to be said. And that is what is mucking things up in Mexico. And that's going to be in your house next, America. It's coming here. And folks in the media here and these activists continue to lie about Mexico and Mexican authorities repeatedly, which is very damaging. It is damaging to our relationship with Mexico. It is damaging to the relationship between Central Americans and the coast country, Mexico, who is currently trying to give them humanitarian aid and help them. Because these activists are preventing that. They're preventing people in Mexico from enforcing the law. They're preventing people in Mexico from giving them humanitarian aid. They are lying about their true purposes there. And they're keeping these people in danger. Frankly, they're keeping these folks in danger. Here's an article from La Jornada called Deportan Cueva Ramirez. This is the article. I will share the link with you so you can go check it out for yourself. Once again, it is in Spanish. But as I said, I like to show my work so you can go check it out for yourself and see. Is this true? Hey, that same thing published in the post of the Crónicas of the Éxodo, Pueblo Éxodo, is in this article. It's almost identical. Except that it talks about how he was driving in a Jetta in front of the migrants.
Oh.
He's a lazy trafficker. He was like, haha, I'm just going to sit in this truck, in this Jetta, and drive really, really slowly in front of the migrants who are walking. It's probably why they were able to tell that he was the coyote. And he said that he was taken to a cell, solitary confinement in Tapachulo. He was not given any right to call. He was not given rights to any visits, not rights to anything. And he said that Interpol questioned him. He was asked to identify other members of his gang. His group, Pueblos Sin Fronteras. And he was asked if they were harvesting organs from the people that he was trafficking.
Wow.
Why would you think the authorities would ask these questions?
Because they suspect it.
Yes. Among the things these people are doing, that is one of the questions that he was asked. Just think about that. And he said, he asked me about the people that are at the head of Pueblo Sin Fronteras, other members of Pueblo Sin Fronteras, including Irineo Mujica. And he said that federal police, 2 agents of the INAMI, and 1 agent from Interpol took him in custody, flew him all the way back to San Salvador and San Pedro, and from San Salvador to San Pedro Sula, and that when he arrived in Honduras, he was met by more police and more Interpol, who kept interrogating him and then finally set him loose. Interesting. But they're not doing anything, folks.
That's right.
There's no terrorism. There's nothing to see here. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just keep sending your money. We don't need a border wall. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I'm a beast. I am a horrible vendida beast for bringing up this fact, to you, that there is danger. Just because I happen to love Mexicans and I happen to love Mexico and I happen to love law-abiding people, because I happen to love people that are doing things correctly, that are not trafficking and harvesting organs and running drugs, just because I'm a monster. Let me show you what happened in the video of the shelter in Coahuila, Piedras Negras, where they collected 20-some people in the Mara Salvatrucha. That's MS-13 for those of you who don't understand. I want you to keep the audio level a little bit lower so that I can talk over it and translate for folks. I'm going to do my best here. Here we go.
Tras los disturbios generados en los últimos días en el albergue para migrantes, el alcalde Claudio Bres dio a conocer que fueron extraídas poco más de 20 personas entre los causantes de los disturbios y algunos miembros de la peligrosa pandilla conocida como la Mara Salvatrucha. Agregó que un joven de 20 años de origen salvadoreño, quien era buscado como objetivo número 1, también fue detenido y deportado.
Fueron extraídos 20 personas
was sought after as the main target. There was 20-some people that were arrested for being irritators, and many of them were part of MS-13. I'm very happy today. Objective number 1, a young man from El Salvador that's 20 years old. He was this morning removed and sent to the city of Mexico so he can be deported immediately to Salvador. This Friday, 300 more people will be able to leave the shelter once they have been properly vetted and received their visas. Many of them are leaving to other states in the country to go work. We have 300 people ready to go today that can leave the shelter because they are doing it in a legal fashion. They're giving all sorts of facilities, including transportation, so that they can be taken to different parts of the country. We have vans, and they're going to different places in the country. Monterrey, Reynosa, Hermosillo. One of them are going to go work in Saltillo and to other places. We're offering them all sorts of facilities. They think they're going to be closing the shelter at the end of next week. Ta-da! I'm sorry I didn't catch every single word in there, but I was trying to. You got the main picture, though, right?
For sure.
You got the main. Mara Salvatrucha. Did you see what they were doing? Let me show you some more video. Let me show you some more videos of what these sweet caravan goers were doing to their hosts. Remember, this is the shelter with the hot showers. Remember, this is the shelter where they lit fire to their mattresses at night some time ago. Remember, this is the same shelter where they also rioted another night ago that I showed you videos of them screaming at the security, the head of security at this shelter where they calmed everything down. This is another riot. They're doing it almost every day since their demands to be let loose without proper vetting. Why do you think they didn't want to be vetted? Do you think it was maybe because some of them were Mara Salvatrucha with warrants in their countries? 400 of them, nearly 400 of them did not qualify for asylum, not in Mexico, not in the United States, because they have felony records. Let me show you more.
Como podemos ver ahí en las imágenes, personas a la parte superior, la parte posterior de lo que son estas campers y centros comunitarios de meteorología.
Top of the buses. They set up 2 buses, one for medical care, one for dental care and psychological care. They're on top of those things, damaging air vents, damaging the property. You see them pulling down that tarp. They're taking the metal poles to use them to beat the police with. Don't believe me? Check out the next video. Look at it for yourself. Look what they're doing with the poles. Look what they're doing with the barriers. Throwing chairs, throwing tables at the police. Look at them. You see that thing flying in the air? Play it again, Duke. One more time. Same video. Check it out. One more time. These are the people that want to desperately get out of the shelter so that they can swim across the Rio Bravo. Never mind that they're dying in that river. That doesn't matter. And then turn themselves in so they can go to a detention facility in the United States where they will be locked up. How do you think they will fare in there? Do you want a bunch of Mara Salvatrucha in detention facilities along with families and children? Do you want them on U.S. soil? These are all questions I have for you. So, to people that say that the Mexicans or that this Mexican is a racist or a Trump supporter simply because I am pointing out facts, realities. I'm showing you my work. I'm showing you the documentation. I am showing you the video. Now I'm going to translate the mayor of Piedras Negras talking about what they're going to do. This is the same mayor. This is the same governor. This is the same state that the activists that I am showing you in the videos today, that these activists are railing against, saying that the Mexican authorities are racist. They're getting them, they're throwing them job fairs. Do you know how many Mexicans in Mexico currently would love to be offered a job, do you know how many other people who went through the process, who paid for the process of getting a humanitarian visa that they took months and months and months and months and months to get, some of them years to get, while these people were given those humanitarian visas in 5 days. 5 days, they facilitated it all for free, got them jobs, got buses for them to take them, and these people are ungrateful. Ungrateful. They destroyed the door on that warehouse. They burned things inside. They terrified people. They were using drugs inside, causing fights. I mean, and Mexico's just supposed to put up with that? And then on top of that, you're going to insult the Mexican people, insult the mayors of Tijuana, insult the government, the federal police, the INAMI, and insult this mayor and call him a racist because they want to maintain order in their city, because they want to go to work, because they don't want their roadways blocked, because they don't want to wait 4 hours to cross into Tijuana to go to their jobs, because they don't want to have the same problem happen in Coahuila. Well, say what you want, but the Coahuilenses, they have my respect. The Piedra Negrenses, they got my respect because, boy, did they keep things under control. Here's the mayor. Listen to what he says.
Beto Alfa, noticias.
Mayor of Piedras Negras acts with rigor, applies the law with rigor against disobedient migrants.
Nigropetenses, buenos días. Les habla su
People of
servidor,
Piedras
Claudio
Negras,
Flores,
I am
presidente
your mayor
municipal del
of your
municipio de
city.
Piedras Negras.
your servant.
Desde el lunes 4 de febrero,
From Monday, the
recibimos
4th
la
of
caravana
February,
de
when we
cerca de
received the caravan
1,800 migrantes aquí
that
en Piedras Negras,
had
hicimos
over
un
1,800
gran esfuerzo para
members,
organizarnos
we worked
y
very hard to
atenderlos,
organize ourselves and
para
attend to
darles
them,
un
to give
espacio
them
digno,
a space that was
sus tres
dignified,
comidas calientes
3
al día,
3 hot meals a
un
day,
lugar
a
donde
shelter,
dormir, donde bañarse
a place to
con
take
agua
hot showers,
caliente. Además,
and
para
also
mitigar el
to
frío,
mitigate the
algo de
cold, we
ropa,
got them clothes.
servicios de salud,
We gave them health services,
odontológicos,
dental
asesoría
services,
psicológica,
psychological services,
entretenimiento y hasta
entertainment,
transporte
and even
para que
transport
acudieran
so
a
that they could
lugares
go
a realizar
shopping
compras o servicios.
or to get
De
services
manera
in the city
coordinada,
in a
los tres
coordinated
órdenes de
fashion
gobierno,
with the state,
el
the federal
gobierno
government,
federal,
and the city government.
estatal y municipal, nos hemos
We
organizado
organized ourselves
revisando y
together
atendiendo las
to
necesidades
check on the
de
needs
todos
of the
estos
migrants
migrantes.
and to serve them.
Y en los casos que
And in the
corresponda,
cases
el
that
trámite
needed
de
to
solicitudes
help them
de
with
asilo
their
político
asylum
o
claims in the United
colocación
States,
laboral.
or to get
La
jobs,
atención
or to get
de
humanitarian
todos los
visas in the United
casos,
States.
uno
In
por
all
uno.
of the situations, we
Hemos
cared for them one
mantenido el
by one.
diálogo con
We have
todos
maintained
ellos.
dialogue with the
Hemos
caravan at
querido
all
darles un
times.
verdadero
We have
trato
given them
humanitario
a
y
real
esperábamos que
humanitarian
ellos
service, and we expected
corresponderían
to be
de la misma
treated
manera.
the
Sin
same.
embargo,
Despite
no
that,
todos
not
lo han
everyone did.
hecho. Estos últimos
These
2 días,
last few
ayer,
days,
cerca del mediodía, antier,
like
por la
yesterday by
noche,
the
hemos
other
tenido
night,
varios
the other day by night,
incidentes
the
de
other day in the
violencia
middle of the day, we have had
dentro de este
several
albergue,
incidences of
comandados
violence,
por un grupúsculo
and it was
mínimo
a
que
small
reprobamos
group of
todos.
people that
Hoy
we
quiero-
all
hoy quiero
are
dirigirme a todos ustedes,
denouncing.
nigropetenses,
I want to
y
speak to the people of this
reiterarles
city
que el
and tell
propósito
them and
sigue
reiterate
siendo el
that
mismo.
we will
Las
keep
acciones que estamos
our focus
realizando están
on
pensadas en todos ustedes.
to protect the security
Decirles
of our city.
que los tres
And we will
órdenes de
tell you
gobierno,
that the
el federal,
state, federal,
estatal
and
y
municipal
municipal,
authorities,
con todas sus dependencias y
with all of its
corporaciones,
institutions,
como el ejército,
like the
la
military,
policía
the police,
federal,
the federal police,
estatal y
and the state
municipal,
police, and the city police,
estamos
we are
comprometidos con
we all
su
promise to
seguridad
focus on your
y
security,
seguiremos trabajando
and we will continue to
para
work
ello.
to do it.
Que no vamos
We will
a
not
permitir que un
permit
grupo ponga
a
en
small group of
riesgo
people to
la
put the
tranquilidad
risk
y la
at risk
paz
our
de
tranquility
Piedras
and our
Negras.
peace in our city.
Que quienes violan
Those
las
who
reglas
violate the laws
serán procesados
will be
y deberán
prosecuted,
asumir las consecuencias,
and they
porque
will
se van
have
a
to face the
tomar medidas
consequences
estrictas.
because we will be
Nos ha
taking strict
costado
measures
mucho
against them. It has cost
guardar
us
el
a
orden
lot to keep
y
order
no
in the
lo
city,
vamos a
and we
arriesgar.
will not risk it.
Actuaremos
We
con
will
rigor
act with
de ser
rigor against
necesario,
anyone
todo
who tries
dentro de la legalidad.
to violate the law.
Hasta ahora,
We will
la
follow the
sociedad
letter
no
of
se
the
ha
law.
visto trastocada.
Our
Todo al
people
exterior
in
de
our
este
city,
albergue
everyone
sigue
outside
normal.
of the shelter
Cada uno de
has
los
a
ciudadanos
normal
siguen
life.
en su
None of you
trabajo,
have been
en
affected.
su escuela,
Everyone gets to
en
go
su
to work.
actividad,
Everyone gets to go to
cualesquiera
school.
que ésta
Whatever
sea.
your activities
El
are,
orden y
order
la seguridad de
and
Piedras
security
Negras
have been
sigue
maintained,
siendo nuestra prioridad.
and they are our
A
priority.
nombre de las instituciones,
In the name of the
le
institutions,
reitero
I
nuestro
reiterate
compromiso de trabajo
our promise
coordinado, pero
to
también
work in a coordinated
firme
fashion
por su
and to be
tranquilidad, por el
firm
orden
to maintain
y por
order
la seguridad
and the
de
security
todos aquí
of
en Piedras
everyone
Negras.
in Piedras Negras.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Dang. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Did that sound racist to you?
No.
Did that sound racist? These are some of the most patient people. I can't even believe the patience. There was a lady, remember Duke, the lady that was in there that they were interviewing, she said like 4 times, I don't know, why don't you just arrest him? Let him get out of here. Give him a sound beating. And
Yeah, exactly. I remember that.
what did you think of the way in which the police, the authorities dealt with all of these different incidences of rioting, basically, and destruction of property and damage and all the things that these people were doing?
Well, I think that community is really, they've been criticized by so many people because they're claiming that, well, the buzz has been from the migrants caravan that they're being kept prisoner. And what they did is that they provided a place for them to stay. They're right next to the border, right across from Eagle Pass. And they wanted to rush the bridge and close it down. They're like, no, not on our watch. We've got a place for you to stay. And right away they were saying, no, we want to stay up later. We want to go around town. I mean, these groups have taken over parks in other cities, caused all sorts of disturbances. And I think the municipality has been, very generous. I mean, They brought them in. They said, okay, here's you got cots, you got mattresses. We have food. We have Wi-Fi. We have 270 outlets over here for recharging your phones. We've got 170 outlets over here for recharging your phones. We're going to bring in entertainment. We're going to make your stay here pleasant because your objective is one of three things. You're going to get your humanitarian visa and work visa in Mexico and go to work and stay here.
Yeah.
Or you're going to try to get asylum in the United States. We can only take 12 people a day. If you count everybody, that's going to take like 3 months. You'll be here for 3 months waiting, but that's a process that we can help you do. And the rest of you that want to just go home, we'll send you home.
Right.
And what people said, no, we don't like to be told what to do. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, and so they started, banging stuff around. I mean, almost daily, starting fires in the, in the porta potties and, intentional fires, and it's just like,
no, in the bathrooms,
in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it's just like, what's going on? The ungratefulness. And yet they have maintained order, and they said no, and people have left and went home. People have left the community to go work in Mexico. They're not being held prisoner. They're lying that they're being held prisoner. And there's a bunch of people there that don't qualify because they have criminal records. And they can't qualify for the humanitarian visa. They've been checked out, and they're like, you can't even be in Mexico. You got to leave, and so they're looking at deporting them or having them self-deport. I mean, and so they've been doing a really good. In 1 week's time, they did all of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. So let me show you their latest gripe. This is their latest gripe. They seem to be getting in trouble with the police again, this time in Mexico City. They're in Mexico City, and this is a video of Pueblos Sin Fronteras people. And I think they're American activists. They're identified in some of these complaints and articles written by their allies as human rights activists or human rights observers.
Okay.
But we remember from Tijuana what that means. Like, they're just a bunch of these Antifa people connected to all the stuff that happened here at Standing Rock that are there to, quote unquote, document. That's all they're there to do. We're not helping them climb the wall and jump over, but they lie. So in Mexico, these people have been identified as problematic, and the police stated they had an order to arrest, a warrant to arrest some folks, and the people that were around him were not having it. Check out the video of what happened when they tried to arrest these guys. Where's the warrant? Where's the warrant? Show me the warrant. Where's the warrant? Okay, excuse my French, but that is effing crazy. These people are stopping the police from making an arrest. They're assaulting the officers. Well, when would you see anything like that here in America?
Actually, there's a thing with the anarchists used to do, and I forget what they called it, but they would interrupt arrests.
Oh, yeah, they're
interrupt arrests. It was a tactic for the
crime.
And these kids did it with the anti-racist action. They taught it in their trainings that people would interrupt the cops in arrests so they could get away. So it's a tactic that's been well documented in the United States and North America by the Antifa people. Prior to Antifa, they were called anarchists. Anarchist movement. And so I know that because I worked with a bunch of them around here, and they had those things in their training. So It's exactly the same thing. It's not an organic thing that they just made up in Mexico City for this time.
Okay, here's another video of the same arrest from a different angle. Check it out. Crazy. Is that the same video?
Looks like it to me.
That's not the right one. There was a different one. Wait a minute. Let's watch the whole thing.
No, I didn't see that part.
I didn't see that part either. So is there a third video?
Yeah, you have a third one.
Okay, here's another one. Look at that American. That's an American. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
She looks like Antifa. Sorry, she does. Look at how they're assaulting the officers. And they're trying to stop the police from making an arrest. Americans in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should arrest all of them and just deport them right away.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. What the hell do they think they're doing? Who the hell do they think they are? To go and break the laws so brazenly in Mexico. Off you go to jail, man. Off you go. He claims he was doing nothing wrong. Once again, hey, ignore all of the proof, all of the evidence that people like this have been deported for trafficking people, that they've gotten in trouble with the law for terrorist activities. Just ignore all of that. It's probably true in all of these cases, like Pueblo Sin Fronteras continues to say, that they weren't doing anything wrong. They're just being targeted. They're just being targeted. They're just being targeted. Okay. If you want to ignore all evidence to the contrary, then I guess they're just being targeted. But from what I can tell, there's good reason for it. From what I can tell, the Mexican authorities have been extremely patient and generous. I don't know. I think that in the United States, if you had put your hands on an officer like that, you would probably be unconscious or dead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. Am I wrong?
Nope.
And so the two people that were arrested there were Cristobal Sanchez and another guy named Dennis Omar Contreras. And in just in case you want to look them up for yourself, but there was a whole bunch of different horrible articles that were written. There was like in American media, of course, in American Posts, in American media, having to do with all of these Antifa people and Border Support Network people that are like, they weren't doing anything, and the cops said that they were doing this and they were doing that. At any rate, here's an article in the Razón, and in it, oh, did I skip something?
Seen slide 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. PSF press release. This is the press release from the Pueblo Sin Fronteras, once again, about what happened in Mexico City. And it said, for immediate distribution, 15th of February, to the migrant community, to people that are defenders of human rights, to organizations on migration, to the authorities that this would correspond to. The declarations of the Subsecretary of the City of Mexico, Arturo Medina, that was given today about the violent actions by their police in Mexico City against migrant people and their defenders and the human rights people outside of the sports center Magdalena Mixcoac are seeking to absurdly justify and criminalize and persecute and harass and jail. Oh, sorry, not jail. And hunt down. These people are ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're being hunted. Oh, no. And hunted down by the Mexican authorities, who have incited prejudice and have shown their prejudice. There it is. They're prejudiced.
Yep.
It's not that they're doing something wrong. They're just prejudiced against them.
Mm-hmm.
Prejudice against those who migrate, and also prejudice against people that defend human rights of migrants. The declarations made by, I forgot the dude's name, about from the Mexican authorities have promoted major xenophobia, he's saying they're racist, and division in Mexican society that is generating a discourse and a set of hateful practices very much in the style of the federal government of the United States. Oh, now we're all like Trump. See?
Yep.
I told you. This is the same bullshit. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to cuss, but it is the same BS argument over and over and over again. And I guess when you don't have any justification for your criminal actions, it is the cheap and easy excuse for everything. For everything. And then it says, the declarations made by Arturo Medina not only criminalize, but they also put in risk the lives of the migrants. And they, I can barely see. They point to, they question, and they destroy all of the work. They target, put in question, and destroy the work that has been done for years by defenders of human rights and organizations defending human rights. Okay. So everybody is wrong. Everyone is against them. No, they've done nothing wrong. They never did. They never will. Keep forgetting and ignoring all the video and all the stories that say otherwise. And in this article by Razón, the leader of Pueblo Sin Fronteras, Irineo Mujica, complains once again that deportation, the expatriation, that means deportation, of those Mara Salvatruchas, of those people who are MS-13, the MS-13 criminals, one of whom had a high-value target on him, 20 of them whom had to be deported because they're part of a criminal organization, a gang called Mara Salvatrucha, one of the most dangerous gangs in the world. And he also takes his time to denounce the Mexican authorities in Mexico City as well. So he's throwing crap both at the mayor of Coahuila and the city of Piedras Negras and the state of Coahuila, as well as the city of Mexico. Irineo Mujica assured that the detentions and deportations of at least 25 migrants from the Piedras Negras shelter in Coahuila could have been prevented. Could have been prevented. How is that? Did all the riots that I've shown you that they've taken place there, could those have been prevented? Maybe, but they weren't. They took place. They for sure took place. He said he believes that they could have been prevented since authorities had all of their documents and information of each and every one of the Central Americans sheltered there, and they could have stopped things from getting out of control. Did that look like they didn't try?
Yeah.
Don't they have all of their documents in hand? He asked. si en el estado hay altos índices de violencia. He also said that in the state of Coahuila, there's also a high incidence of violence from Mexicans. What does that have to do with the fact that there was MS-13 in this gang? I mean, in this caravan. Listen to this jerk, this Irineo Mujica, this terrorist. He's talking about the mayor. He's worried about 25 Mara Salvatruchas. That's ridiculous because no one has more power in Mexico than the narcos do. What kind of an argument?
Yeah, really.
What? Don't deport the MS-13 gang members because you have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
You have a. Oh my God, this guy's insane. I will share this article with you, and I'm sure that your Google Translate will allow you to read it and see it for yourself. I am not making this up. It is real. These are facts. He said that it's the Migratory Services job to check out who is and who isn't members of gangs. And that they're obviously not doing their job at the border. You're encouraging them to break the law. You're encouraging them to come in undocumented into Mexico because, of course, they're trafficking drugs. And then, I mean, he just goes on. It is so disgusting. He also denounced the authorities in Mexico who arrested those people that I just showed you the video of. He said that they attacked in a premeditated fashion and they used excessive force against defenders of human rights. Andrea Gonzalez, Andrea Margarita Núñez Chaim, Cristobal Sanchez, and Dennis Omar Contreras. The last of whom is a migrant from Honduras. And that they premeditatedly, in a premeditated fashion, violated the human rights of each and every one of them. He said that they were just talking outside of the sports center when agents came and began to physically aggress them. He said that he denounces the clear strategy of the Mexican government in conjunction with the government of the United States to criminalize, persecute, violate, and put in risk the lives of the defenders of human rights, of these migrant caravans, and to criminalize humanitarian aid. To criminalize humanitarian aid. I just don't even know what to say about that. But here's the truth. Here is the video of Lolly B and Jake Lee telling you. These are part of this group of caravan supporters, caravan exploiters, liars that tell the caravan these false hope, dreams of asylum that they do not qualify for, and raise money off of the backs, off of the suffering of the many people in this caravan, admitting that most of the people that they have been telling to do this, to come in these caravans, to go through the border and go turn themselves over to Border Patrol and go into detention facilities, will not get asylum. Here's Lolly B and Jake Lee. Listen for yourselves.
Can we guess how many would get it?
I feel like I heard 20%, but I don't know if that's...
Yeah, like basically it's not...
20 or 30 maybe, but...
Like it's a low percentage.
I don't feel
of
like
all the people that we've been working with, all the people that are applying, the sad truth is that they will not all get asylum. Like most of them won't get asylum. So it's pretty heavy. Can we guess how many would get it?
I feel like I heard 20%, but I don't know if that's...
Yeah, like basically it's not...
20 or 30 maybe, but...
Like it's a low percentage.
I don't feel
of
like
all the people that we've been working with, all the people that are applying, the sad truth is that they will not all get asylum. Like most of them won't get asylum. So it's pretty heavy.
Like most of them won't get asylum. And do you know that number? That 20%? That 30%? Remember what I told you? That the statistic is 7%, on average, 7% of people that request asylum are granted asylum.
Mm-hmm.
What was the amount listed by No Entiendo News of the current administration's granting of asylum? What was the percent? Because it wasn't 7%. And I said, look, Duke, there's the current percentage point of people that are receiving asylum.
I think it was like 3.
It was 3%. That's correct.
Wow.
3%. Not 30%, not 20%, 3%. But they couldn't even tell the truth honestly. Even though that's the closest to the truth that those two liars will ever see. But even then, they had to bump up the volume because they could never save face, ever look at one of these migrants that they've lied to and exploited ever again and look them straight in the eye, go, we told you to do all of this for the possibility of 3%. And it's costing America and Mexico millions and millions of dollars. Because they couldn't do it with a straight face.
Yep.
There is a special ring of hell for people who did this. There is a special ring of hell for them. And let me tell you, this article in Mother Jones tells me everything I suspected about what these people are helping to do. Because they're telling these folks to go into detention, and here's what's happening to them in detention. Oh, they're told, you won't have to stay in there. We'll get you a sponsor that'll get you out. If you have a sponsor, you can get out. If you have kids, you can get out in 3 days. If you're gay or transgender, you can get out really quick too, because they don't have a lot of room for those people. They don't have a lot of space for those kinds of people. So what's really happening? The truth is that ICE is sending hundreds of asylum seekers to a private prison in Mississippi. Yes, check it out. I will share this article link with you so you can see for yourself what's really happening to some of these folks, okay? And in this article, I want you to look at the second one here. It starts off by saying, on a December morning in Tijuana, Isaac Molina and his family stood in a line of migrants waiting to be allowed into the United States to seek asylum. So this is the very person, this is one of the very people that Lolly B and Jake Lee and Kei Kurimoto and Doug McLean and all of those other people that I have mentioned to you, and Myron Dewey and Evan Duke and Lilith Sinclair and all of those other people I've been talking about with these Antifa groups, we're helping to cross into the United States, standing with them by the wall, crying her crocodile tears because it's just so emotional to see them go in, and we don't know what's going to happen to them in the Yelena. Could you PayPal me, please?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this person was in Tijuana, and this person ended up in Mississippi. 7 weeks later, after he crossed the border and was taken into custody, right? He found himself in a prison in Mississippi.
Wow.
And then, if you go, it says, it might seem odd that a man seeking protection from a regime condemned by the Trump administration would end up imprisoned at the remote Tallahatchie County Correctional Facility that is run by a notorious private prison company. Wonder who that is.
Yeah.
Probably CCA, could be Geo Group. But Molina's story is part of a secretive effort by Immigration and Customs Enforcement to expand its network of crowded detention centers by housing more and more immigrants making legal asylum claims at jails and prisons around the country. Remember when I told you that they were going to increase the prison industrial complex, and that they were going to do it through the detention facilities.
Yep, I remember this.
But I was wondering, how are they going to get? Well, I said they're probably going to start rounding up a whole bunch of people, including permanent residents, taking their residency away, including American citizens. And it made me really scared. But now I see they're just manufacturing crises, manufacturing caravans, using them to traffic a bunch of stuff, including drugs and people and children, and then filling the detention facilities that had really the numbers of people crossing and illegally and filling these facilities was down to a trickle. It was down to a trickle, folks. The illegal border entries were at their lowest in 46 years. That's almost my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
And yet, all of a sudden, here's all of these migrants, Duke, ready to fill up these facilities. And it turns out ICE was just itching. The closest city, by the way, hundreds of the asylum seekers are now incarcerated in Tallahatchie, far from anyone that they know or any legal services that they need. The closest city to Tallahatchie in Memphis is 90 miles to the north. Core Civic, the private prison giant that runs Tallahatchie, there it is, has traditionally used the 2,672 person prison to hold criminals sent by the state governments across country facing space shortages in their own facilities. But when Core Civic said last year, listen to this, it's important. When Core Civic said last year that California would remove its 13,000 inmates from Tallahatchie amid an effort to end its use of out-of-state prisons, the company found a new population of inmates to make up for the shortfall.
Wow.
In June, it signed a contract that allowed ICE and the U.S. Marshal Services to incarcerate up to 13,000 people at the prison. These are private prisons. Moolah! Cha-ching! ICE's experiment at Tallahatchie has been carried out with little transparency or oversight. Congress required ICE in 2018 to publish basic information about the jails and detention centers that it uses, but the agency has kept Tallahatchie off that list. Secret site, black site. ICE declined to say how many migrants it is holding in that prison. Across the country, the agency held a record of 49,000 people in detention this month, even though Congress had provided funding for only 40,520 detention beds. New contracts, like the one at Tallahatchie, are allowing ICE to exceed the limit that Congress had tried to impose. Many, if not most, of the ICE detainees replacing convicted criminals at Tallahatchie are asylum seekers from around the world. Since Mississippi does not have a history of immigration detention, access to legal counsel at Tallahatchie is severely limited.
Oh, boy.
The American Immigration Lawyers Association website lists no immigration attorneys within 50 miles of the prison. Zero. Zippo. Nada. Lawyers who have worked at the facility say that there are not enough Spanish-speaking staff members at the prison, let alone those who speak the native languages of asylum seekers from Africa and South Asia. Jeremy Jong, a staff attorney at the Southern Poverty Law Center who visited the prison, said in an email, quote, "If someone wanted to build a jail where asylum seekers lose otherwise winnable cases because of lack of access to the outside world, that jail would probably look a lot like Tallahatchie does now." But these are the humanitarian people. I had somebody yelling on my Facebook page, on my personal page, at Cindy Gomez-Schempp, "How can you say that these people are inhumane? They're out there protesting the detention facility that they help to fill."
Yeah.
That they help to fill. So, excuse me if I call these people hypocrites, liars, criminals, and everything else that they deserve. because what they are doing is horrific to me, and they call me a sellout. Please. Please. I ain't buying today, folks. I ain't buying. I'm bringing you truth, whether they like it or not, because I'm a Mexican crossing lines, and you've been here on 88.1 FM KPPPLP Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Don't miss our next show, and good night.